Hi everyone, Elle Hackney here, and welcome back to another YouTube interview where I like to speak to everyone in the book world, whether they be authors, illustrators, podcasters, industry professionals, even content creators. And today's guest is a very talented author, teacher. She's won competitions. She's placed in the shortlist of some major competitions. She's a mum of three boys. She's got a beautiful doggy, and she's brought out a book called Nanna's Ladybird. Can we please welcome Melanie Hunter?
Thank you very much for having me, Lauren.
Melanie, I can't wait to dive into this beautiful new book of yours. Can you please tell me your inspiration behind it?
Yeah, absolutely. The inspiration behind Nanna's Ladybird is actually when my mum passed away, we noticed a lot of ladybirds coming to visit, and it was really, really special. The reason behind the book as well was when I was reading to my son, there wasn't really anything that resonated as much as I wanted it to. And children are so perceptive, and I wanted something to be something there for him to be able to read and him to be able to resonate with as well. And this book is very special. Those ladybirds that came, they came when Mum passed. And unlike so in Nana and Peggy's story, they are there in the beginning, but when my mum passed away, the ladybirds arrived, and they even arrived when we were up the top of a 8-story building in Korea, and there was one little ladybird that popped on the edge of the window and visited, and it felt like a sign from my mum from heaven, and that was really, really special. So that's where the inspiration has come from.
So, after going through such, I guess, just a heartbreaking experience, because it is hard to say goodbye, especially when you want them to see your children grow and you want them to see you be a mum. So this has happened. When did you feel was the right time to start writing this story?
Yeah, that's a great question. When it would have been around 2 years after my mum passed that I started to write. And I explored picture book writing with Writing New South Wales and did a course. And I started to write the story then. I guess I'd written little snippets and things down in diaries and things, but to actually write it as a picture book, that's when I would have started. So it was a process. And to be able to put it into words and to have a story that is based on a little girl and her nana, unlike my story, which was the son and my mum. But the story is surrounded by Peggy and Nana, and they have a beautiful time in the garden together. They have a beautiful bond, and they explore together. They make homes for ladybirds. Nana cooks for Peggy. It's really a special bond for them. And then suddenly Nana passes, and Peggy needs to learn how to keep going and what she finds comfort in, which are the memories that she has of Nana and also in nature as well.
And do you feel while you were writing this story that you possibly were guided by your mum?
Yes, yeah, I think so. And my faith too. I do believe I was guided not only by my mum but by God. And I felt the words and the reason behind it too was definitely guided. That real passion to hopefully help others and bring comfort into their lives too. So yeah, I do believe that.
Yeah, no, it's such a special thing what you've done out of a situation that usually is just brings heartbreak. You've brought a little bit of support, and you've also brought a bit of a legacy, because your children can now have this book in their hands and take it right through life with them. Because I think picture books are so important. They really are that that foundation of reading. With this story, because it came out of what it's come out of. You've got your children. How did you go as soon as the publisher wanted to pick it up? Because it's no longer just your book, it's somebody else's vision, like the illustrator's vision. How did you go sharing that?
I guess it was quite easy once I spoke to beautiful Rebecca from Star Label Publishing. She is a beautiful person, and she create and they, as a team, the Star Label Publishing team, they create books that make a difference. And So for me to be with a publisher like that was really special. So when she wanted to come on board and she believed in the book, I am so grateful that she has. It is so special. And when she did, it felt right. So it was actually quite a beautiful process. And also, I was able to have someone that I know and a colleague and a friend to do the illustrations. And Lana Mansfield is a talented artist. So that was very special to be able to do that and work with her, and especially on a story that is so close to my heart, too.
Yeah, the cover is beautiful. The Nanna's Ladybird. It's the colors, the way everything is presented has been beautifully done. I'm glad you've had a good experience with making sure this book is brought to its full justice it should be brought to. So how do you go with your book your book signings and things like this? Like, where do you like to show this book the most?
Yeah, so I've recently had my launch, and the launch was at the local library in Charlestown. So I'm from Newcastle, Leighton Quarry Way. And we had a wonderful launch. We had craft for the kids. We had cupcakes, Ladybird cupcakes. We did a big signing there, and I hope to reach out to different schools as well. I'm in the process of organising some signings, hopefully in Sydney too. So that's all in process at the moment with a bookstore. I am in touch with them. I'm just waiting for them to get back, but it is online with Kurong, and they're the ones that I am hoping to have the signings with as well.
Mm. Because as much as the message of the book, from a grown-up's perspective, can be, quite a grown-up topic, I'm actually also thinking it would be really fun for younger kids to go to book week as ladybirds. Once
Yes.
they pick up this book, that would just be amazing. Tell me
Yes.
about your experience with the Just Right for Kids, because you placed in the shortlist for that last year. Is this correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct. Yeah, so I ended up writing a pitch for my junior fiction story, Mason and the Magic Drum, and it was shortlisted, which was wonderful. I have a lovely writing team. We're a writing team online. It's just the three of us, and we were sharing and helping feedback, and it's wonderful to have a community around me. And when I placed, I was very fortunate and really happy that that happened.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought, wow, that's so fantastic to even place is amazing. And
Thank
tell
you.
me, where did your inspiration for that story come from?
Yeah, so my inspiration for Mason and the Magic Drum, it relates to adoption as well, but it is about a little boy who this gentleman comes from South Korea to visit their farm, and he's in a small town, and he comes with a drum, and it's a magic drum, and every time something happens within the farm, this magic drum, when it beats, something magical happens to help the family. And throughout the process, they're in the process of adopting. I won't tell you the ending, but the inspiration, of course, came from my family. My eldest is my biological child, and then my two youngest we adopted from South Korea. So the inspiration has come from there.
Wow, that's magic. That's magic in itself, actually. Do you make up bedtime stories with your children?
I do, yes. And we also read many, many books before bed. So they're often requesting me instead of dad because they know that I'll read more books.
Not a bad thing. And I like asking authors everywhere who have picture books published, what was your picture book memory growing up?
My family, we read a lot. So it was just me and my mum and dad, and they read a lot of books to me. One of the ones I remember was Mr. Under the Bed, and I had to look it up, and it is in my son's room somewhere. But so Mr. Under the Bed, and we used to read it a lot, and I remember it was a monster, and he'd sleep in the bed with the child. And I remember that one. Peter Rabbit, we would go to the library and borrow the little Peter Rabbit books, the nice little white hardcover versions. I remember those, and nursery rhyme stories as well were really special in my house.
Yeah,
Mm.
because it's my dream for any author that wouldn't it be great if your picture book was somebody's picture book memory later on in those years that's the one that they remember. And I love your journey here because everything's got so much heart in it. Have you always wanted to write for children?
When I was young, when I was really little, I used to write picture books, and I loved doing it. And then throughout high school, I'd write stories, and I then studied English at uni. So I'm a Japanese teacher, but I did major in English as well, and I loved writing. But it wasn't until my children came along that I really wanted um, to write a lot more and hopefully have something published. I've been inspired by friends, and I've been to book launches for years, but I thought, oh, maybe I can do this. And I started I started doing courses. And here I am with a published book and hopefully someday some more too.
And what's one thing that you've learnt? Because there's a lot of authors out there that are aspiring who listen to my channel. What's something you learned that you didn't know was part of the process once you got that contract in your hand?
It's a great question. Something I didn't know. I think I didn't realize the power of, well, I guess it's after the contract. However, when I had the book in my hand, finally. So it took that time. However, it was quite a quick process with Star Label. They were wonderful. Um, but getting the book in my hand, I had no idea of the power of that book. Opening the box for the first time and seeing my book and how that would feel, and it was really emotional. I didn't realize how how much would come up when that happened. So a lot of sadness, but also a lot of happy memories of my mum, even just opening the book and realizing the story. You know, it's dedicated to my mum and to my son, my eldest son, who fortunately did have a chance to meet her. Um, and seeing it in print was really amazing. Other things I guess I didn't realize before I started the process. There are so many things that publishers do that I had no idea about, and different editing processes and all sorts along the way. And I have learned a lot from Star Label Publishing too. They've mentioned, along the way, they've asked me different things about editing and fonts and all sorts of things that I didn't personally think of until the process started.
Any advice out there for authors who are just dying to be in your shoes, who would just love to have that feeling of picking up that book for the first time?
Write what you love and keep writing. I think that's the main thing. Um, and just keep writing and keep submitting. And there may be rejection after rejection. It certainly has been for me so far, and every author has that. And we have such a beautiful community of authors. We see on Instagram, Facebook, and everyone's really supportive. So I think once you tap into that community, that's really important as well. So definitely tapping into a community and write what you love, and you'll keep enjoying.
And can I ask any future stories coming down the track?
I hope so. I hope so. I wrote my first middle grade novel last year in NaNoWriMo. So I took the challenge. And with three kids, I didn't think I would, but I did. I I finished my first draft. So which was really exciting. And I'm in the editing process of that. And I hope that that comes to something. I would love to see my junior fictions, or I've got two junior fictions I've been submitting, and my middle grade. I would love to see something come from that. And I've got lots of picture books. So yeah, I hope so.
Oh gosh, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? And so, Melanie, if anyone out there would like to contact you, either for a school visit or a book week visit, libraries, kindies, how can they contact you?
Yeah, so my website is the best way to go. So I have all of my details there. There's a contact page. My website is www.melaniehunterbooks.com. And please head to the contact page and contact me there. Or I'm also on Instagram and Facebook under Melanie Hunter Books too.
And do you do Zoom visits out there for schools who aren't so close?
Absolutely, yeah, I would love to. I look forward to speaking to students and meeting them. That would be wonderful. As a high school teacher, I love what I do, and to be able to share my story with students would be wonderful as well. I look forward to doing that and being able to read to them. It's a wonderful thing to be able to read, and then to have a student actually reading your book, and the videos that have come back after the book launch of children reading my books, or pictures with them in their rooms reading and pointing out the ladybirds and finding them in their own garden. It's been very, very special.
Yeah, I couldn't, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine like what's come out of the journey to have that book, and that's the reward at the end. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And like I said, it's a legacy. Like your family now have this to carry on. Like it's just so beautiful. Melanie, thank you so much for joining me today. I've loved hearing about your journey. I've loved hearing about this beautiful book. Show me one more time. Show me this
Yes,
book.
absolutely. So Lana's illustrations, if you have a look, they're
Oh,
so beautiful.
oh, I love that. Yes. Oh, such a beautiful job. Absolutely.
It's beautiful. She's got some stunning illustrations in there. They're
Oh,
all
wow.
beautiful. She's done such a wonderful job creating everything. And we see the ladybird. The ladybird only comes into it when there's a special ladybird, and I challenge readers to find the special ladybird and keep pointing her out. So once Nanna passes, special little ladybird pops up, and she's in the. We can see her in some of these images there, and then she's right at the end as well, and also in the end pages on the paperback too. You can see her right at the end too. And there's the special ladybird, the one that reminds us of Nanna that keeps popping up when she passes away.
I love that. Melanie, you have such a special book. Thank you so much for sharing that with me today. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to see what happens for you next. So, Melanie, thank you so much for joining me. If anyone would like to contact Melanie, all the details are in the show notes. And we look forward to seeing what happens next. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much, Lauren. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. Thank
Thank you.
you.